covering off one-time user passwords for voice and SMS. We will also take advantage of some leadership corner qualities for leaders and communicators. And there's a better way to annotate live in our Teams meetings. This episode, it's sponsored by CloudAlly. Let's roll it.
IT admin. Your ticket, if you choose to accept it, is to find John F's email with his Bazinga supplier's invoice from 2018.
Impossible. The default retention period is 30 days.
Use CloudAlly. CloudAlly backs up all your Microsoft 365 data so you can restore all your mail, contact, the whole thing from any point in time. Give me any search word.
Try Bazinga.
Bazinga. Restored.
Awesome.
CloudAlly protects all your Microsoft 365 data with secure cloud-to-cloud Amazon S3 backup with unlimited retention. Start your free 14-day trial and never face data loss again.
Welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome everyone. So glad you're here. And so glad you're here, Daryl.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Oh, sorry. I'm supposed to reciprocate. It's glad to have you here too.
No. Now it's ruined.
Yeah, it is.
It's just
a bit
ruined
like,
now.
Like when the friend goes, no, you take the last piece of pizza. Oh, no, you. Okay, I will. And then
it's like, how dare you?
You weren't
How
supposed
dare
to
you
say
do
that.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's so pitiful.
It is.
Yes. Welcome everyone. This is a holiday week for those of us in the US and Canada, it turns out. Canada has some sort of day on July 3rd. I don't know what it is.
On the 3rd of July, because they want to get
is.
theirs in before yours.
Right. They were jealous, and so they said, no, we'll do it on July 3rd, and so that we can, make sure that... I think it's Canada Day, maybe.
Is it the discovery of maple syrup day? Or?
Yeah, bad maple syrup. But anyway, we'll move on. I'll probably get in trouble. Write your letters to Daryl at... it's Canada Day is July 1st, but they celebrate it on the 3rd, or the holiday is on the 3rd.
Okay.
Anyway, whatever. So in July 4th is when we celebrate kicking the redcoats out of our country in the U.S. So, yay, July 4th.
Okay. Well, how about that? Well, I mean, enjoy that holiday, everyone. Enjoy the fireworks and the middle of summer. I hear it's stinking hot at the moment.
So hot.
Yeah.
It is 94 degrees right now where I'm at. It's going to get hotter, but 94, which translates to like 34 or 35. I don't know what Celsius. Your weird numbering. But the humidity is 70%, I think. And that's actually kind of low. Not low, but it's lower than it can be here. It's gross. But yay, South.
365 Mrs. Center Show and your point in time weather report. Yes. Nashville, Tennessee.
I want to first say one thing we called out last week was the relevance column. And the message center was all out of whack. It is back to regular these days, apparently. Mm-hmm. So I think we need to keep account of all the wonderfulness that we helped bring about with the message center. And that's one of them.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Yeah, we made the 3-block temperature gauge of relevance of it's not relevant to medium relevance to it's super important back on track just for you. Yes. Daniel, we're already delivering value, so let's remind our people that you've got to subscribe if you haven't already. You've got to engage with us on the socials at 365 Message Center Show. Like the video and the podcast so that everyone can find it, because that's how algorithms work. We also would really like it if you aren't following our Twitter handle already, to do so. We're looking to try and use the like the subscriber feature on that for our account.
We have some great ideas, and
Yeah.
I'm not joking here. We actually do have some great ideas to bring even more value, and so we need more subscribers to Twitter to push the button.
Yep.
So please, if you're not following us, it's at 365MCS. Pretty easy. So we'd love for you to do that.
Thanks very much, Daniel. Let's get into it.
Absolutely.
Well, our first message is something I've been watching closely for a bit because, well, I think you are too. You're an Outlook user on an iPhone and the Outlook mobile user. This is removal of access to sections view in Outlook mobile feed, MC60988. The feed. All right, this is an area. Maybe you could pull out your phones now if you want to. I'm not showing mine on screen, but just do it along with me in an audible fashion. Open up the Outlook mobile app.
Hey, Daryl. Don't refresh your screen, by the way.
Don't.
Because I just did, and that message has completely disappeared from my message center.
Okay, well, I'll leave it.
It was
here
there
so we
5
can
minutes
talk
ago.
about it.
So
Interesting.
Yes.
This happens occasionally. Okay, let's
does.
just put our phones down for a bit and just talk about that for 1 minute.
yes.
This is one of the downsides to the message center. While it does create awareness and it does, there's messages there and they get updated and actually before the show, an hour before the show, like 30 different updated messages dropped in to say, hey, we're not going to be able to deliver this feature the month that we said we would. Here's the new thing. Changes happen. And sometimes, when a message has got out and we've made the effort and our organizations have made the effort to let people know what change is happening, and then it disappears from the message center, it's not a credibility question. It's a, hey, hang on, we just prepared people and they were ready for this change, whether it be good or bad, or they had to do something, and now it's gone and there's no evidence of it.
Right.
So I won't refresh. Back to the normal programming. You've got your phone out. You're looking at the bottom of your phone, and you've got email, calendar, and now you've got something called feed. Remember when there was just 3 things there, Daniel? Mm-hmm. And it was a search, and it was calendar, and it was email. The feed is now where we would go if we wanted to search for something, where we would also find people and content. And what has been added there over recent times is this concept of the feed. It's showing you things that you might be interested in, things that people that you connect with and work with are working on, and it's supposed to show a whole lot more. And what was before that, and it might still be on your phones now, was a view called sections. So I've changed to that. Now maybe I'll add this over the top of this as kind of B-roll. But if you change to your sections view, you had people, you had received and sent files. It was a quick way to check out, where was that file again that was attached to that message that I was looking for? Well, it's right there. I can cycle through it. And then we had a to-do section, a place where we could quickly check on our tasks, and just use that almost as a way of to-do without the to-do app. That's the part that's been removed. If we go down to our message now, there's a couple of screenshots in here that show us that. So your top right-hand corner, you can switch between feed and sections. And it's sections that are being removed. That's all it shows in the screenshots, but it was good to just do this along with you. Hey, how about that? Like, it's an interactive show. We got people to pick up their phones and take a look. And that's what's been removed. What I sort of lament something about how it used to work, Daniel. Like, I like the feed, and I get where Microsoft is going with this. We do have a feed as well. When you go to the Microsoft 365 homepage, on your app bar, you can go there and you can see all kinds of stuff that are all about trying to keep you up to date with changes or focus your attention on coming meetings and that sort of thing. I want to see all that here in the phone, but what I do miss is when I wanted to search for something, I would tap the search button. I would tap it a second time and my cursor would jump up into that text box, and I could start typing. And I don't have that now. I can't search. Not like that.
Yeah. And one thing you didn't even talk about or bring up again, we've talked about this previous, and people have asked this, is more feeds. And why can't we have a unified feed, right? I mean, there's just so many feeds, right?
Yeah.
So this doesn't solve that, of course, but it just brings that point back up.
I think that's what it's supposed to be. Like, we do have a whole lot of feeds. I actually did a video on it way back. Like, the feed of feeds. You've got like all these smorgasbords that you've got to choose from. Every product group wants you to start your day in their product. Go to the OneDrive feed. But this is supposed to be that combined feed. It's just that in the mobile experience, it isn't that. It's not as strong as the feed on the Microsoft 365 homepage. Are you going to miss sections, Daniel?
Nope.
Yeah? Do you like feed?
I don't use it either. I read my email.
Yeah, you read your email. If you want to search for something, I guess you just use that search button at the top right-hand corner, which doesn't really, no, I guess it wouldn't show, but it's normally up here in the top right-hand corner, search, and then go to it. Yeah. Won't miss it, so it's not there. Let's wait and see if more of the feed becomes feed worthy.
Ooh, feed.
So when is this change happening? It is happening. This change is rolling out June 2023, complete by late July. So the change, which is to remove something, is rolling out between those times.
Because if you refresh your screen, it might not be there anymore. So,
well, yeah, okay. So, maybe the point is I'm covering a message that, oops, we shouldn't have had that there.
I don't know. I just logged into another tenant and it is there. So I don't know what's going on. It's very interesting.
Oh well. I think it's about time to go into the next message then to cover that off.
Okay, let's cover
just this
that
one time
off.
though.
Well, okay, but how do I know it's you? So I'm going to call you. Introducing voice, one-time password, OTP, MC611686. Now, this is technology that's been around. I've had various services that would do this. It would call you, say, your code is, and then it would say the numbers in weird...
Like that?
And it would do it. I think Amazon had it as well. I'm trying to remember. There was one service that would call me. I did it once, and there was background noise while the person was talking, while the computer was talking, and it was doing weird stuff to try to. If this is a computer listening, they want to try to confuse it.
Yep.
Right.
Well, Microsoft accounts used to do that.
Really?
Yes.
I never used it. Okay, so. I don't think, maybe it was Microsoft. I don't know. But so this is what this is. They're going to allow you to have a voice call for MFA for a one time, and they call it password, but it's not password, it's code, right? So you can log in. But this is on the heels of, we talked about this, 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
This was episode 290. Where we covered the message that said changes to the registration campaign features in Azure AD, where it basically said, we're getting rid of. You should stop using phone calls and texts as part of MFA, but now here we are. They're saying, the message says, hey, you shouldn't use those methods. You should use a device, a token, or a authenticator app. But but we're going to roll this out anyway and be able to use voice for your one-time password. Daryl, what do you think? Given the history here that I just covered and what this is saying, what does this mean?
Confused. I'm confused. Mostly because the previous message, maybe I can just bring that out briefly, was actually quite definitive in saying what you should expect, that by July 10th, maybe we're misunderstanding this, but this says that users in your, and this is the previous message related to this, your organizations that are relying on SMS and voice for MFA, so it's different name, but basically the same concept, one-time password, will be prompted to set up or to use the Authenticator app, and you can skip that 3 times, and then you'll be required to register and use the Authenticator app. And this will happen starting July 10th. Very definitive. So which is it? And is this the same thing? Or is it just the registration process? To me, it sounds like they don't want us to use it, and by July 10th, you have to have Authenticator set up. But now you can also still use MFA and one-time password?
Right. Very confusing.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I have no idea. But this is starting in August. So maybe between July 10th and August, you will have to use the Authenticator app, but then in August, you'll be able to get a voice call.
Just over your holidays in the Northern Hemisphere for extra security.
Right. Users in your organization who rely on SMS will have this new optimized channel. But I thought we weren't going to be able to rely on SMS, which is text messages for those that... So I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. I'd love to have some clarification, because this message obviously says you shouldn't use this, or we encourage you not to do this, but here we're going to give it to you anyway.
A colleague who worked previously in the health sector, especially during like the COVID times, and they had to rapidly roll out the use of M365 and, of course, extra security using MFA. A lot of their nursing staff don't necessarily have a smartphone, so they still need to receive something that can't use the Authenticator app. And when she caught on about this message we covered last time, it was like, well, that's really short notice, and oh my goodness, how are they going to be able to log in or securely? So maybe this is just a backtrack on that.
Maybe. I don't know. So August is the rollout there. We'll see. Hopefully we'll get some clarification on that. And when we do get clarification, Daryl, I want you to send me a chat message in Teams, but I really don't want people to see what you're saying, and when I share my screen. Is there any way to make that happen?
Yes, Daniel. I can make that happen with this coming feature. In fact, it might even be there for you now. Microsoft Teams Compact Chat List, MC609889. Today, you can go into Teams and change how you view content in your chats between comfy and compact. I love that. Comfy. It just kind of makes me feel like warm and cozy inside. Or was it cozy or comfy? Cozy. It's comfy. There it is. Let's bring it up on screen so it's a bit larger.
It's comfy.
That whole
like
music was
comfy.
for free.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it is comfy. Right. So you can change to compact. We can do that today, and that will change the way that a chat looks in terms of like reply, your post, reply, etc. But what that will do now is not only will it make the content in the chat compact, it will also compact the list of chats down the side, the chat list. So that will be, a chat between you and I, Daniel, or a group chat, or a chat that happened in a meeting. And by compacting that, it actually removes the one preview line that is below your chat. And we've had a similar experience with the email for years as well. We can get a small preview of what is in this message. Some people find that useful, to be able to glance down and see, oh, that's the person, and this is what we chatted about recently. But like you said, sometimes if we share our screens or just for privacy's purposes, we don't want to show what's in that list to glance down. So there is this other switch, Daniel, which we tried out when we're preparing for the show message previews in your chat list. And I think it feels like it should work where we turn compact on, everything's compact in the list and in the chat itself, but we might still want to have that preview so we can switch that across. Did that work for us?
Absolutely not. It did not work at all. It did nothing. You the toggle does nothing. Today. So maybe it's just in the preview mode that we're in, it doesn't work, or we're just not smart enough to figure out what it's doing. But
that's probably more likely. Yeah. Right. So I got on screen what this looks like. I like to say this ironically for our audio listeners. Like, is there any other kind of listener? But I am describing to you the chat list, a single line when it's in compact mode. Babak Shamas, his small little picture, his name, the time and date of when we last had a chat, and immediately under that, the next person and the next chat. No previews, a lot smaller, a lot more compact. Yeah. I think that switch is supposed to add a second line underneath that with the preview.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I expect. But yeah, there are uses for it. To be honest, I actually use the comfy view. I just prefer to have that slightly larger, but I would like the switch to be I'm in comfy mode, but turn off the preview. Right?
Yeah. I agree with you.
Well, when's this due?
Soon.
Begin rolling out in July for GCC. Standard release begin rolling out in early June. And expected to be complete roll in July. Hang on. What? We've only just received this message.
Yeah, I know.
And it's telling us it was rolling out in early June. Oh well. Good job. Good job, people. Well done. It'll arrive when it arrives. Spanning from early June through to September, depending on who you are and what tenant you have.
Right.
The details are right there. There we go. Let's move on to the next one. Taking advantages of Viva Engage.
You want to take advantage of me? No.
No, just Engage.
This is take advantage, and this is the longest message title, by the way, this week.
Mm-hmm.
Take advantage of new Viva Engage capabilities for leaders and communicators, MC 613508. And this message is a lot about, hey, remember that thing we told you about and had a blog post about? Hey, it's coming. So you might look at this and go, man, is this marketing? Like, is this a thing? You remember, for those our longtime watchers and listeners, we've said that before, is we often look at these and go, is this a thing? Like, is this something we should cover? Or is this marketing or other types of things? But there are some important aspects to this message. So let's start from the beginning and talk about what is this? This is saying, hey, we are bringing the features for Leadership Corner that we've talked about before, which is an Engage a premium feature, and I'm going to come back to that in a second, that phrase, as well as some campaign hub updates. And some of those discovery types of campaign hubs and enhancements we've actually covered before as well. So really what we're talking about here, though, is that there will be a banner for admins that will be prompted in Engage to say, you need to set 3 things up. For one will be identify who your corporate communicators are. And those are the people who can create campaigns. Those are the people that will be kind of managing your Viva Engage premium experience. Okay. The second thing you need to do is identify leaders. And those are the people who have, you guessed it, Leadership Corner, can do AMAs and that kind of functionality. So identify those leaders. But then the third thing is you have to identify those leaders' audience. What do they cover, right? So your CEO, president, COO, those type of people, probably their audience is the entire company. And there's a special, you can say entire company. But maybe it's your CIO, maybe is only for IT, maybe, or maybe it is for the entire company. But maybe your VP of sales is only for sales, or your president of the Americas would be just the Americas would be their audience, and the president of APAC would be, that region of the world, right? Stuff like that. So that is one important part of this message is, hey, you need to set that up. And so you're going to be alerted mid-July. Admins will see that banner to get that set up, because none of this is really going to work if you don't set those things up, right? Now, will you get this if you don't have the premium experience? I would doubt it. If you're going to get the, you're not going to probably get that prompt if you don't have the premium experience, the premium features. And then that brings me to the second kind of bigger thing is at the bottom. I just want to point out, it's very interesting. It says, how can admins help the organization adopt Viva Engage Premium? I don't think there is such a thing as, it feels like that they're calling that a product, or it's Viva Engage Premium, kind of like Teams Premium or whatever, right? It's not a thing. It's premium features that you get as part of Viva Suite, right, Daryl? Or am I making too much out of this? But I just kind of feel like the wording is kind of weird, and it actually says it again in that first bullet point. So it just seems kind of odd for it to be put that way.
Well, it's a service plan. So, neither of us are licensing experts, and neither do I aspire to be, because it's confusing. But you buy a license for the Viva Suite, and you can turn certain sets of features on and off using a service plan. And one of those service plans focuses in on premium features for Engage, and a premium feature, as we're talking about here, is Leadership Corner. That's not going to be available to everyone who has a regular Microsoft 365 license. Right. It is something that, yes, does take effort to set up, to target that audience, to make sure that the message that gets out from a leader goes to the right people, and that it appears in, I guess, those people's feeds is really what it comes down to.
Yeah, and that plan is called Viva Engage Communities and Communications, and we've talked about it on the show in the past. Feel free to go to our website at 365mcs.com and do a search for when we've talked about this type of stuff before. So that is, like I said, is rolling out. That banner is going to be rolling out for admins in mid-July to just give you a little prompt. Hey, go set these things up, please. Daryl, let's click through and move on to the next message, and maybe we get some annotations on some things.
Yeah, well, at least we'll increase our click-through rate, which is what we're also aiming to do with our YouTube videos. Ha ha ha. This is a poorly named message about a great improvement to a feature. I'll read the title, and then I'll tell you what it should be said, how it should be named. Click-through collaboration annotations layer in Teams meetings. MC 611685. Of course, I will not change the message center number, but click-through collaboration. Click-through collaboration. What am I clicking through? And I'm collaborating. Collaboration annotations layer. Like, it just feels garbled to me. What is it, people? It is that when you want to add annotations, and you can do this in a Teams meeting today it takes a screenshot. And you take that screenshot and you draw on it, and you can all draw on it, and then maybe you want to save it, and great, you've got it. This feature lets you do that on a live screen. That's all it is. Well, that's a simpler way of describing it, but it is actually a significant feature. This is something pretty cool. And you can do it in other meeting products as well. So it's good to see it come to Teams, but Daniel and I might be presenting to a group of people, and I have my screen shared, and I'm showing some things on there, and Daniel wants to annotate to try and just add a few more things and draw attention to certain things on the screen. So rather than taking a snapshot and drawing on it and then going back to the live screen, Daniel will be able to draw on my live screen, and we'll be able to also toggle between those annotations, so we can leave them up there and then go back and change and update stuff in the live screen behind it while we do it. So that's really what it is. Now let's just take a quick look also at, maybe I should full screen this. Let's do that. This is, okay, make it a bit smaller, drag it over a bit, that's good.
You know, that probably wouldn't happen on Windows.
Hey, sorry, it would do. It would do. It's the size of the screenshot they've taken. So,
sure.
yeah. Daniel's always hassling me about all those sorts of things. So annotations, we use the little pen or pencil icon, which is in the bar on top of a Teams meeting, and that gives us the various annotation feature. Today, if you were to do it, you click on that, it would take a screenshot and allow you to start drawing. But now you've got the option to select interact with background to edit your content during annotation. Again, like a poorly named bubble, but it's allowing you to draw on the screen. It's live. I'll toggle over, and now I can leave those annotations there and start to, maybe change the web page that's displayed or something like that. I've actually, one of the key use cases here for it is also support. So if you're going through a sharing session and you want to draw on the screen and draw someone's attention to something and ask them to do it, sure, you could do that with a cursor, but being able to circle and draw and do that is helpful.
No, this feature is very, very helpful. This new part is saying, okay, you've drawn on this layer. I want to interact with the layer that is my desktop, or that is the application I've shared, and work with it. And I think it's great, especially for when you're I'm thinking through when you're collaborating on, hey, maybe we should make it look like this, maybe you're drawing and you're like, oh, I want to move something around underneath the layer that we've drawn on. So I think it's very useful, and it's a great update for this feature.
You know what they could have done was actually had some annotations in these screenshots.
I agree. Yes.
That would have helped. But anyway, good feature. Not a great name for it, but we've done our job, Daniel. We have brought value. We have translated this title to be able to draw attention to it. So let's go back to our regular sized in programming. What is the timing for rolling this out? Standard release will begin rolling out late July. Expect to be complete by mid-August. And GCC High DoD will begin rolling out early August. Expect complete mid-August. Over and above what we see here in the message, I also saw something from some Microsoft personalities who work in the education space that this would be a great feature in education, wouldn't it? But they actually have to do a little bit more work to make this, I guess, something that only the teacher can use, as opposed to students using it to draw on teacher screens when they're demonstrating stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it will come to education eventually, but not during that timeline announced in the message.
Yeah, indeed. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. I'm sorry. If you're sad, it's okay. You can go follow us on Twitter and engage with us there. You can follow us on Insta, and we're at 365MCS there as well. You can follow us on LinkedIn. Again, 365MCS. See, there's a pattern here. Go out, engage with us, and we'll engage with you. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. But also, hey, we have other episodes you want to watch. Check those out on our channel. YouTube, guess what it is? It's 365MCS. Absolutely. We keep it consistent because I'm Mr. Consistency. Thank you so much, Daryl. This has been a blast this week.
Yeah, it has. Like final thanks to our sponsor for this week's episode, CloudAlly. Keep an eye out for a special episode where we talk to a personality from CloudAlly to talk about how this improves our use of Microsoft 365. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye for now.